What's up guys, David12797 here, and in this video I'm doing this completely unscripted, just a bit of a rant I guess, but it's going to be my story of switching to Mac and now why I use Apple products. Now my first Apple product, like I'm sure many people, was an iPod a few years ago, and well, fair few years ago now, the iPod's pretty old. And I guess the iPod really got me across to using iTunes, and I got the idea of, what Apple was about slightly. Now I came from a completely Windows background. I had pretty much never used a Mac before. I grew up using Windows pretty much solely. I do remember my grandfather had an old Apple computer. I can't remember the brand of it. It's like something 8000, 9000 or some LMC or something like that. I can't remember. I've looked it up, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. And I remember using that, but it's not until I'm older now that I recognize it was a Mac. At the time, I didn't even have the concept that it was a different brand of computer. To me, it was just a different computer. I thought at the time it was just a very old computer. Now looking back, I realize it was just a different brand. So other than that, I really had no experience using Apple computers, and I had that very Windows mentality of Mac was complete junk, very much that you see today as well. It wasn't until I got to high school that I started really using Apple computers just in spare time. I'd be doing assignments in other classes and there were Mac computers I could use, so I'd end up using those. And that sort of was my first indication of using it. I remember the teacher asked me to help me shut them down at one time, and I didn't know how. And I guess it was being a technology person, something different got me interested. So I was very attracted to that it was like, wait, this is something different. I want to try this. I want to see what it's like. And this was about the time that the iPhone came out. When the iPhone came out, I remember looking it up and thinking, wow, this is crazy. But look at all these things it can't do. It can't send picture messages, it doesn't have Bluetooth, it can't do this, it doesn't even have a video camera, and it was but at the same time there was that complete difference with the screen. And I ended up, the year later when the 3G came out, we didn't actually get the 2G in Australia, getting an iPhone because I was looking at smartphones and I was comparing to the BlackBerry Storm. And I ended up getting an iPhone. I think that's the point when I got fully interested in Apple products and actually started keeping up. I got the 3G, and then I remember the 3GS coming out and I watched the keynote and I was like, whoa, this is cool. Finally a video camera. And then after that I had the iPhone 3G, and then I went to university and I was studying communication, which was media production, and that taught us to use Final Cut Pro. So then that got me more interested in the Mac platform because I was using it at university, but then I wanted to be able to use it at home to use Final Cut Pro for video editing. So then I finally got my first MacBook, which I still have in 2011. That's this one over here. Obviously I've upgraded a bit since then with a SSD and RAM. So it's still going strong since 2011, and that's the one thing that I really like about Apple's products. Well, I guess back then, I'm not sure how the new ones are going to go with all the non-upgradability, but they seem to last forever. They just keep going and keep working. I had a Toshiba laptop before this Mac, and it lasted me 2 years. In that time, I had to send it away twice to get the hard drive replaced and stuff because it just died on me. And then right after it went out of warranty, it did again, and I fixed it myself. Now after that happened, I actually built myself a gaming desktop PC. Now that PC I had for 2 or 3 years, I can't think off the top of my head how long, and it was a great computer, but I really went for that because I wanted the gaming side of things. And it wasn't until I actually got it that I noticed I didn't tend to computer game that much or a whole lot. I tended to migrate towards, the console side of gaming as a more relaxed way of gaming. So that's when I actually opted, like a few years, 2013, I opted and got myself my 21-inch iMac. So I didn't go for the 27-inch. I was going to, but with the specs I wanted, it was slightly too expensive. And this 21-inch, I've got everything upgraded to the maximum possible. So it was 2,500 Australian dollars. So work that out wherever you are. So I got that in 2013, and the main reason I switched my PC was when I had a PC desktop, I found myself migrating towards my laptop a whole lot more. Even to the point that when I was doing university work, just using Microsoft Word or something, I'd rather grab the laptop and the MacBook and use it, to the point of plugging in a dongle and using the second screen, my desktop screen, as the Mac screen. I even then would connect up a wireless mouse and use it like a desktop, but I was using the laptop in like clamshell mode and stuff like that. So I guess once I bought a Mac, I became very used to the operating system and the way it worked, and I got the main thing that got me was, I think Steve Jobs said this when introducing iCloud, it just works. It just works. And that's like the best quote I can say as my screen goes to screensaver, about Apple things is they just do what you want them to. They help. That's in my opinion. Obviously, I have no hard feelings for PCs. I just have a personal preference of Mac. But things just seem to work. I remember having a Windows computer and I tried to upgrade the RAM, and then I had all these errors. The computer wouldn't start. I spent hours and hours on end researching forums and trying to get these RAM cards to work, and in the end I could only have 3 of them. I couldn't end up using 4 because I think it was to do with the power supply or something like that, and it was like, oh, I can't be bothered fixing it. I ended up just giving up and just chucking the second one in the last card in a drawer. So it's things like that that you spend hours and hours on end trying to fix. When I was a teenager, I loved doing that stuff, building computers, doing all that. That was fun. Now that I'm older and I've worked in IT and I've sort of got that experience doing those things, the last thing I want to do when I come home is spend 4 hours trying to make my computer do the thing I want it to do. I just want it to work. I think the best opinion on this subject is by Dave Cullen at Computing Forever, or LAC78. He goes over that these computers, they're just tools for work. They're nothing special, and arguing which is better, Mac versus PC, iPhone versus Samsung, PS4 versus Xbox. Computers really are just a tool to get work done. And whichever tool suits you better is likely, that's your choice. You use that tool. If you find working in Adobe Premiere Pro, for instance, on a Windows PC is much better for you, then by all means, if you can produce a video in 10 minutes on that if you're using a Mac would take you an hour because you're not sure what you're doing and you just don't like the interface, then by all means, use a Windows PC. It's more efficient for you. For me, I prefer the Mac because I tend to have a lot of problems when I use Windows sometimes, where I'm sitting there troubleshooting and then drivers are missing and then the graphics card needs another driver and then that driver doesn't work, so you got to roll back drivers and that sort of stuff. I left that behind a long time ago. Well, that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Sorry, it's a bit of a long-winded video of me just rambling with no script or anything like that. If you want to subscribe for more, I'll be posting more videos shortly. Like this video if you did like the topic. Also, in the comments section below, please leave your personal opinion on whether you like Apple products or whether you use Windows products and why. Again, thanks for watching.